All right, it being 6:30, I will call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Channy is on vacation, so he will not be here tonight. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from March 17th.
Make a motion to approve those.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Next, we have a permit for raffle tickets for Santa's Helpers. The date of the prize drawing is April 3rd at the Winchester VFW for a meat package.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Next in here, it's nothing we need to act on tonight, but I had gone over to the Thayer Library, when was it, last Friday?
Yep.
And met with Steve Gassett to look at the boiler over there and the leak that it has. And unfortunately, it looks like we just got a lemon 8 years ago. The how old that is, 8 years? 6
7.
years? 7 years?
It was put in 2014, 15.
Yeah, so we got a lemon of a boiler. That's an oddball off name, hard to get parts for. He can get the parts, but to do the work that it needs right now is just under $1,000, and that's still not guaranteeing how much longer this thing's gonna last. It's had problem after problem. We've put 500 Band-Aids on a broken arm so far, and the arm's still broken. So he gave us an estimate for the $912 to repair what's wrong with it right now. But I told him, I had asked him to go ahead and just for giggles, throw us a estimate for a total replacement. If that's the road that we ended up choosing, and his price here was for just $5,900. So, like I said, that's nothing we need to act on tonight. That's something we do need to think about here, though, before next year's heating season gets here. It is still running right now and producing heat. It's just dripping all over the basement floor. So that's more of an FYI, but we will have to act on that at some point. Next in here, we have a letter from Dunkin' Donuts, just stating that, I'll read it, it's only one paragraph. It says, Happy Wednesday. I'm reaching out on behalf of a local franchise who's opened a new Dunkin' Donuts in Winchester. They're hosting a ribbon cutting and presenting a giant check to a local organization on March 27th at 10 a.m. and would love to have you all out to celebrate. Please see all details below and let me know if you can share the news and attend. So, March 27th, which is
Saturday.
this Saturday at 10 a.m. There'll be a ribbon cutting down there, so I can go. I don't know if anybody else wants to go down for it and check it out, but I can definitely go. I'll always be the first to volunteer to go to Dunkin' Donuts, so.
Surprise.
Possibly.
You'll go?
Yeah, I think I can make it, yep.
Okay. Next, we have a letter in here from Executive Counselor Cindy Warmington. It's addressed to the Select Board. It says, I'm writing to introduce myself as the Executive Counselor for District 2, representing Winchester. It was a pleasure to meet Chair Kolansky a couple weeks ago when I visited a few Winchester businesses, and I look forward to returning to town as often as I can. I want to make sure Winchester constituents' needs and interests are represented at the council table, and I'm hoping to hear from you about what you see as the greatest needs locally. Some areas that councilors and governor are already aligned on are investments in infrastructure, including transportation and broadband. And I want to make sure all communities in the district can take advantage of those opportunities if they become available. So, yeah, I met with her 2 weeks ago she was here, something like that. And spoke to her for a little bit out here on Main Street. And she definitely seemed very willing to be engaged with the community. And she had a lot of good things to say about Winchester. So we'll be seeing a lot more of her hopefully soon. Next in here, I'll get through all the quick things before I get to Dale and Mark. Next week's the 5th Wednesday of the month. Do we want to have a meeting?
I think we should, Ben, just because typically our deliberative sessions come early in the year. This is the first time that we've had one this late, and just in case something comes up, that, you know, because our deliberative session's a week from this Saturday, and I just think that we should meet, you know, for that reason, nothing else.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either way. I mean, obviously, I would love to have a Wednesday night off, but if we have to come for a meeting, even if it ends up being a real quick one.
Right.
Yeah. So, you guys
I'm
on board with
fine
having a
with that.
meeting next week?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so we will be meeting next week, regular scheduled time. And the last quick thing here is just a reminder, Jack just spoke of it briefly. The town deliberative is April 3rd at 9 o'clock. The school deliberative is April 10th at 9 o'clock. And elections are May 11th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. All of this will be held up at the Winchester School. So anybody that's accustomed to coming to the town hall for things, you need to remember that it's at the school again and not here. All right, Mark, I'll let you go first so you can get in and out of here.
Mark Tigan, Chairman of Winchester Economic Development Corporation. And you'll probably all recall from time to time I come before the board to bring you up to date, which is generally an overall report. And recently I got a request from Carrie to give you a report on the marketing and specifically, which I provided to her, a summary of marketing report, and you all should have brochures for the park we're talking about. And so I'm just here to give you a quick update on the marketing, but I'm also open to any questions about what's going on over there. And so I'll just take the marketing to begin with. And this is in regard to Stone Mountain Business Park. As you can see, we're 90%, 95% done with all the infrastructure work. And we've been moving faster and faster towards marketing. We're ramping up slowly. The reason we're ramping up slowly is because we don't have a lot of capital to do marketing. We've sent out some direct mail brochures to certain mailing lists that have come to our attention that would fit within the park, mainly things like food processing, metalworking, furniture making, that sort of thing. We are averaging, as they say, just to come over the bow of the boat without any invitation or anything else, about one lead or one prospect a month without any advertising, without any outreach. And this comes primarily through word of mouth, but also because we've had some good media coverage recently in New Hampshire Magazine and the Keene Sentinel, and that's helped. But based on my experience, professional experience on this, you need a good 20 or 30 prospects before any one of them grows hot, because they're looking over a lot of competitor sites, sometimes nationally, but most often here in the tri-state area is there are competitors. We have 2 prospects that we're working with now, and I would consider on a 1 to 10, 10 being hot and they're going to close, to 1 being they're just kicking tires. I would say one of these is about a 3 and the other one is a 5. So nothing really excellent to report, and like we're going to have a new business there soon, but we're working on it. We've also applied for additional marketing money, which is the big barrier for us, is having money to place ads, to upgrade our social media presence, to upgrade our web page, and we just don't have the capital for that. We got a lot of capital in infrastructure, maybe like we've just spent, or coming close to the $900,000 in infrastructure, but don't even have $5,000 for marketing. So we're applying for some marketing funds. And the last point, and I'll just summarize in closing, saying that we think we're going to, it's subject to a board vote in early April, but we're going to list it with MLS and do a request for proposals from commercial real estate brokers to list it. And we'd be looking to make that decision on which broker to list it with their marketing plan they propose and how much they intend to spend on advertising. So that's a quick update. I can give you answers to any other questions you might have on the infrastructure or the status of the funds or anything else, so I'm open to questions.
Mark, the paving, the top coat, that's going to be happening this spring, right?
Yes.
Yep, okay. I thought,
The other thing is, relative to paving, you'll notice that we didn't finish the cul-de-sac. And the reason is because when the engineers did an estimate of what it was going to cost, the EDA didn't believe that we could do the cul-de-sac. This EDA is Economic Development Administration. They're the ones that gave us the grant. So they cut us back to 1,700 linear feet from 119. The bids came in 20 to 30% below estimates. And I haven't figured out why, and I'm almost afraid to ask why, but I suspect it's because of the problems with a lot of the work being during the pandemic. Some people said that's causes their prices to go up. Some cases that's caused the prices to go down. In our case, we benefited from going down. And I think the super is from Winchester, and I think that had a lot to do with them bidding correctly, because they didn't have travel costs and they could keep an eye on it, except for cement mixes. So that's where we're going to be applying to EDA with this leftover money to finish the cul-de-sac. But it's not a slam dunk. Even though if we don't get it, we're going to leave money on the table, money they gave us that we couldn't spend because the bids were so low. On the other hand, we have our congressional delegation serves on the Appropriations Committee for Department of Commerce, which is EDA, and a call from an appropriator in Congress has a lot of influence on the administration of EDA. So we're hoping to ask Gene Shaheen to help us get it through the bureaucracy of approving that completion of the cul-de-sac. And that would go, what we're trying to figure out is whether we can do that at the same time as the topping, the final coat, or whether we have to do that separately. I don't know the answer yet.
So the road's not gonna continue any further, it'll just be the cul-de-sac right from where the road ends now?
That's right. Right now, if we do that cul-de-sac, about where the road ends now, that'll open all 6 lots. We'll be able to say your utilities are at your lot line. Now, some of those lots are deep, and we also tell people that if they want a smaller piece or a bigger piece, we could easily carve this pie a different way. We'd have to go back to the planning board. But it ultimately, we may have to extend the road, but that could be also on the tenant's responsibility. So right now, we're saying 5 or 6 lots, some big, some small, all with utilities and roads at the curb.
No, I think that's a good plan. Any other questions from anybody from the board?
I'll tell you one thing that we are struggling with is this water pressure issue. Before we were saying, one of our engineers early on, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, said that we didn't have enough water pressure for sprinklers out there. And so if someone came in before the water upgrade, we would have had to do 10,000 square feet or less, or put a 2-hour firewall in between anything over 10,000. I've been working with Rick on this and trying to figure out with engineers if the pipe itself, the increasing the size of the pipe out to plumb pack is enough to increase the pressure for water suppression in the park, absent a new tank. And we're always under operation or operating theory that we may need a new tank. The jury's still out on that. Plumb pack has got it scheduled. Is Rick here by the way?
No.
No.
Plumb pack is scheduling a dynamic water test sometime in the next 10 to 20 days. And from that test, we'll be able to, I think, be able to tell whether we need a tank for water pressure or whether we can use the increase in the diameter of the pipe for water pressure. But I don't know the answer. But certainly, one way or the other, we're going to need to increase our water pressure out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a conversation that's been had many times.
Yeah. I have a board member that believes that we could easily, each business could put up their own water tank and create their own pressure, but I think that's not a good sales point.
No, it's not.
What like a booster pump or something? I don't know if you know, again, at whose expense that would be, but.
Well, right now, we don't have it in our budget.
Yeah.
So, one of the things we're hampered a little bit by is one of the federal rules says we have to sell the land at fair market value. So it's hard for us to kind of fuss around with the sales price. So if somebody comes in and says, I gotta do a booster tank, it's gonna cost me $10,000, can you sell the land for less? We're inhibited somewhat by our agreements with the feds. Not to say we couldn't get out of that, but I don't want to go there because that's just 6 months of delay and we don't have it.
Right.
We hope to close one lot in the next 12 or less months. That's our goal, about one lot a year. One of the prospects we're looking at now wants 50,000 square feet for metalworking. Another one wants about $30,000 to $40,000 for food processing. And I just don't know where we're going to end up with the water pressure issue and how those prospects work through the system.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky subject. Right now, we do have the benefit, I guess we can say, that there is another major factory on that water system that is already scheduling a test that's willing to share its results. So there's a cost that we might have dodged there.
Well, we got fingers crossed. that-
Right, so we'll,
Blow the heads off. That's-
at least we'll have some numbers for Rick to work with to know what exactly is gonna be going on, and Rick's a pretty smart guy when it comes to water, so he'll have some sort of proposal. I'm
Yeah.
confident in that.
We'd like to, we're thinking about a ribbon cutting kind of thing sometime in late May. Just FYI, we haven't scheduled it. We're trying to work around some of the congressional delegations' schedule, because it's always nice to have them, because they put some work into this themselves, you know, and
Right.
then take some credit for it. So we're working on schedules, but middle of, end of May is what we're targeting for ribbon cutting.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
But you do have a support letter here for the USDA grant. Is this the same grant we've already been discussing?
No, this is not the grant that we're applying for. This is for WEDC,
Okay,
for their marketing.
so this is a support letter to support you guys, say that we support you in your mission, and asking the USDA for some funding for marketing.
Right. I mean, that's the kind of funding we need, is that
Yeah.
marketing money. It's the same grant you're going after, by the way. I mean, we gave you a support letter. You give us one.
So what's the board's
So
feelings?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries. There's only room for the one signature. I just signed it.
I'll take this. Do you want a copy? Do you need a
I
copy?
do.
Okay.
Can I just scan it to you tomorrow morning?
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Mark.
thank you very much, Mark.
Appreciate the town support, all the department heads, and, help us with gates and plowing, security, and water pressure. I mean, we couldn't do it without Flagler.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say to make sure you let your board know that we definitely thank you and them, all of them, for your dedication, and I know you guys have put a lot of work into this, all for the benefit of Winchester. Yep, thank you. Dale, you actually have some good news for us this time. Well,
What good news do you want? That the loader price went down?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Not if you're talking about the case. I went up and tried that all out. That's really not, it's not a bad machine. One of the worst thing with it that I found was when you dump it, as soon as I picked it up and dumped it, it's like, that's not high enough. So we got the ruler out, and we're 100 inches to the top, to the sideboards on our trucks. That's 100 inches when you dump it. Because this thing isn't high enough.
Yeah,
Every time you dump a load back out, you're gonna be tearing the sideboards off the truck. Other than that, it's not a bad machine, but I just see a lot of problems with that.
so you're not recommending the Chase,
I am not recommending the case.
but because of Chase coming in with a really low bid, we managed to get a little bit more money knocked off the John Deere and the Volvo.
But I haven't had a chance to look at those yet. Those are a smaller machine than what we have.
Did John Deere change the size of the machine too? Is that
Yeah.
how they got this lower
Yeah,
price?
They dropped down to a 624,
Oh,
or 524, excuse me.
it's kind of defeating.
Everybody and the Volvo, they both dropped to the next size machine.
I see one of your notes there, Dale, that there was a town that actually replaced their 544, which we have,
Yeah,
with one of those
two or three of the towns did,
60s.
and they love it.
They do.
They said that it was the best thing they ever did. I personally have not had a chance to jump in one and run one and see. They're the same 3-yard bucket, same horsepower. You're giving up 3,200 pounds of weight. Probably not big deal. Little bit of torque. I don't know why you're losing the torque if you got the same horsepower, but it didn't make sense to me. But the guys that have it that I talked to love the 60.
They did.
Yeah, I couldn't find anybody say a bad word about them.
Now, are you gonna try to test run?
They're supposed to have one like in 2 weeks up at the yard. Well, it's past our
How
deliberate session.
about the ad in Springfield?
They don't have one.
They don't have one?
No, all these new machines they're due in the middle of the month.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you just mentioned, the biggest problem is, if we're gonna change anything, it's
gotta
gotta be
change
done
it.
at deliberative
We gotta
session,
change it, what, next week?
right, a week from
A
Saturday.
week from Saturday, so.
So, I
See if
mean,
you-
we still, what the warrant article is
I mean,
for, isn't
I
it?
can try to get a hold of these other towns,
I was gonna say, can you go
go
visit a
see
town?
theirs, take some measurements.
Yep,
I just, we've gotta have something that when you tip down, you can back out of the truck without hooking it.
or at least pay attention when you're doing it.
Did they give you the notebook on the 524 there with specs or with,
No,
no?
they're not giving that, they're not
Yeah.
giving that tip
Okay.
in backing out. I don't know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I really would like to go look at a Volvo
Yeah,
before.
where's the nearest town? That's all right,
Yeah, I
That's
can't
fine.
tell you. It's-
but maybe you can
Yeah.
sometime next week,
Yeah,
or the end of this week.
and yeah, go up and see if I can't run one of them
Yeah.
around a little bit, load a truck.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's gonna do what it needs to do.
Right.
I mean, obviously, it's pretty good savings of money.
Right.
Yeah.
If it'll do what
Yeah.
we need it to do.
I mean, what's on the warrant article is a really good deal for the machine that's on the warrant article, but obviously if we can get a machine that'll still work for us, at less money, we'd be doing better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, talking to these other guys, I can't find a bad word about a Volvo, so it's,
You're seeing a lot more of them pop up around, so
yeah,
figure they must be something pretty decent.
yeah. Hopefully, next week I can have a little better information for you.
Yeah.
Another reason we should meet. Just couldn't get it all in.
Yep.
All right,
All right, well, thank you.
all right, thanks.
Yep.
And I was personally glad to see you guys put some stone out there in Old Hinsdale Road. I thought I was gonna have to call a wrecker one day coming down the hill when I was stuck in four-wheel drive in the middle of the road. Yeah, that got muddy real quick. All right, now in the financial folder. First is a request for payment out of the Conant Library Capital Reserve Fund to Stebbins Spectacular Painting for $8,954.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries.
And this is the last payment, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
that project's complete, and the pictures, I haven't been there to see it myself, but the pictures I've seen of it, it came out amazing.
I was
There's
just gonna mention that, Ben. I know there's pictures out there, I haven't seen them, but if you can tell them where to find them.
Well, there's on Facebook, on Winchester Working Together page, somebody had posted some pictures of it,
I have some pictures too that Matt sent me.
and there's been a lot of very positive feedback on that.
Pictures don't do it justice though.
No, it's definitely worth going to check out. Next, we have request for payment of the revitalization funds to Gloria Lustek for $196.70.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
And
Gloria's,
Ben, will you explain why, so people don't think that we're just paying off Gloria?
oh,
It's for the farmer's market domains.
yeah, it's
for the next-
reimbursement,
For the next 5 years, so we're covered.
yeah. It's reimbursement for the domain name.
Yep.
Gloria paid for it, and she's just getting paid back. All those opposed? None. Obviously, Gloria's abstaining from voting. So motion passes 3-0. Next, we have a request for payment of the ambulance billing account for payroll for February for $12,324.72.
Make a motion to approve that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. And there's two requests for payment, which is again reimbursement. These are from the Police Outside Activities Fund, Special Fund. One's for February and one's for January. The January is $697.64, and February's is $200.23.
Make a motion to approve both of those.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Ben, Lindsay's here for the school. No?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Well, I just saw it posted on this, I maybe misread it. I thought you guys were gonna come, I thought the school was coming to give an update. But if you don't have one, that's fine. I misunderstood.
Okay, hold on one quick second. I was just gonna ask, there's one thing on here that I didn't see in here.
Yes, it was supposed to be out here, but I did not get it signed off on time, so.
Okay,
It'll
so
be
that'll
next
be on
week.
next week's agenda? So if anybody did see the agenda and is wondering about the permit on here for the racetrack, that'll be at next week's meeting. It was not turned in on time. And now, Lindsay, for a school update.
Good evening. I'll provide a quick update for the school. We are back on campus 4 days a week. Our students and staff are super excited to be back. They're doing a lot of mask breaks. There is certainly a heightened sense of ensuring cleanliness in the school right now, and overall just doing very well with return. We successfully hired 2 positions. One was our business administrator, our business manager. We have made a job offer. We're super excited to introduce that candidate at our next meeting. And we also have made an offer and are super excited to finally place our school psychologist position, which is a position that we have been trying to place for the last 2 years. Wow. It is a critical need, and we have been outsourcing that contracted service for the last 2 years to approximately twice what a normal salary offering is. So really great news for the school in that capacity. We are, the Winchester School Board will be hosting, hopefully with the Alumni Association, our annual senior night for our graduating seniors. As you're probably aware, the greater community of Winchester offers a significant amount of scholarships to our graduating seniors. They always have, and they've continued that. I think that's going to be June 2nd, and we're not 100% sure what that is going to look like, June 2nd, in terms of indoor, outdoor, on-site. Christy Frazier typically heads that up, and Tina Perkins from the board will be doing that. Otherwise, the school is trucking along. We're looking forward to our deliberative sessions, and you know, we're very excited this year that we came through that budget planning season with a lot of support, and so we're hopeful that we see a positive outcome at deliberative. That's all from the school.
Thank you. That's excellent news on finally hiring that position. I know every year at budget season, it's always a huge conversation because the company that it's outsourced through charges a ridiculously high amount of money.
It's a required contracted service. We've been down that road before, and we're really excited this particular candidate actually did train locally as well with us. So they're returning to, you know, kind of their roots. And I think for anyone, especially a long-term resident, when we see that happening in Winchester, there's a real sense of community pride. So that was nice as well.
Are both of those people being announced at the next school meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. I don't believe I have anything else. Does anybody else from the board have anything? No?
No.
All right, I will open the floor for public comment for 15 minutes. If anybody from the public has anything? Okay.
I have some public comment, thank you. Lindsay Pickard, 96 Richmond Road. Just a couple of things that have come up over the last few meetings. I know that there had been a lot of discussion about changing the times here at Town Hall. I haven't heard that discussed in the last 2 meetings. I'm not sure exactly where it's going, but I didn't hear a lot of feedback from our overall community. Perhaps there's an opportunity to do some kind of just informal survey, what works best, what are times that are people really looking for. I heard that a few people would like different times, but maybe the best way to decide what's, really meets the needs of our community is to kind of get out there with, would you like to see some early, some late? Is it working for you? You had discussed some of parking concerns at the new Dunkin' Donuts that's down at the intersection. And I know that there had been conversation about maybe putting up no parking because we're probably going to end up with some larger rigs that park along the side of the road. I just want to say that I agree that a traffic pattern and understanding what's going on at that intersection should be evaluated. But I, just to throw out there, I would maybe consider that putting up a sign to discourage large vehicles from stopping kind of doesn't encourage those, we're looking to bring business in, to have companies come in. We have a new park that's being built. And if we're not encouraging, big trucks to stop at the Dunkin' Donuts, the only Dunkin' Donuts that they might hit coming out of, off of 91 to us, I don't know that fosters a real sense of business. So just something to think about. However, of course, that suggestion should never override safety. The next thing I wanted to discuss is the community really deserves to hear some conversation about our chief of police and about what is going on with our police department. It's been weeks and weeks. The select board hasn't discussed it. Our former police chief has found alternative employment as a new chief. I don't know if any of you have been getting any feedback, but I've certainly been getting some feedback from some of our community members about some concerns for our youth in the community. And as a resident, I'm used to seeing a police presence on Richmond Road every single day, and I hardly ever see the police there. I'm also really concerned if any of our current staff at the police station have read our emergency plan. How will they attack or attend to an emergency that happens in this town right now or at the school? So I would encourage the select board to please talk to us about what's going on with our police and with our staff. My final thing is I just wanted to thank Amy Bond. I came a couple of weeks ago. I had some questions about the $414,000 addition to the balance. The fund balance. I didn't want to call it.
Yep.
We do this every time, Ben. And I had emailed her the next day with a laundry list of questions. I see this, can you explain this to me? And she provided me with a really great detailed information, of course reminding me that the audit is not complete, but that these are going to be probably some pretty firm numbers that we're looking at. I wanted to say really a great job to the town. It looks like we had some interest on taxes exceeding what you estimated that you would be able to bring in, with 2 significant tax liens being executed during that year and a $65,000 positive revenue. I mean, these are things that you, the select board, should absolutely and could be talking about. Those are great things. You also had some unrecognized property taxes, whether that's from building or from our assessments. It was $61,000, another great thing to have a discussion about. And some miscellaneous revenue to the tune of $46K, which, you know, from a school district standpoint, anytime you have unexpected revenue, shout it from the rooftops, you know. I saw that the Cranberry Bog project came in under estimate. I was a little concerned to see that we had such a significant savings in our welfare department. I just want to make sure that in times of need, our community knows that we have resources available to them, and perhaps there's an opportunity for some outreach there. My biggest concern really with reviewing where some of your excess was that there was a $79,000 savings in the highway department. And knowing just what our highway department is in need of, it just seems like there might have been an opportunity, given a bottom line budget and the needs of our highway department, for some money to be spent there. You know, solid fiscal management means looking to the future needs of the town as well, not just savings. So I was able to confirm with Amy, you know, that there was revenues in excess of what was anticipated of about $160,000, and your actual expenditures versus what was appropriated to the town was a savings of $253,000. So I just wanted to say thank you to her for coming up, for providing that document. Wanted to encourage the select board that when you have an opportunity to report good news, please report good news. Transparency is important both ways. And just also something that the school board has been doing most recently, we always read our manifest, review our manifest in public, of course, and then of course in the last year have been doing a year to date. And again, I would encourage the select board to bring that to the public and review your budget maybe in a more open manner. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Jim, did you want to speak on the police part of her question? I would. Because if you want to hang on one quick second, Jim, what I was going to actually recommend is that maybe we, instead of everybody just kind of spitfiring something off the top of their head right now, maybe we put together something to present next week. A detailed report on answering the concerns that were brought up tonight. Yeah, yep. Not seeing anything else from the public, I will close public comment, and I will entertain a motion to go into non-public under, wait a minute, RSA 91A32, what was it, C and E? B, C, and E. Yeah. I had a brain cramp trying to remember what was in there. Roll call vote. Jack Marsh? Oh, wait, nobody made the motion.
Nobody made a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Roll call vote. Jack Marsh?
Aye.
James Rokes?
Aye.
Gloria Lustek?
Aye.
Ben Kalansky, aye. We're now in non-public and do not see us having any other business. And as you can tell, I'm very tired.
Gloria, you want it? Behind you.